Hello everyone, and welcome to my tutorial on how to use my Excel budget template. So first we're going to talk about how to navigate through the budget on these different tabs down here, and how to use the different pages. And then we're going to talk about how to set up your budget so that it sends you automated emails. So let's start with this budget summary page. This is the first page, the main page that gives you a good summary of whatever month is entered in right here. So right now it's July 2017. So my earnings, my income was this in July 2017. My bills, so recurring payments, were rent 800, water 30, etc. And then one-time payments, non-recurring payments, are these. And you can choose these categories here, and it's easy. You can just delete that. So you see this cleared out. You can change it to I can't think of another one, so even though I already have healthcare, there's health. So now that pops up. So you can edit those. You can have up to 12 there are here, but you can have less than that too. It doesn't matter. You'll just have a couple white lines or blank lines. So then you have your cost total, so the sum of all of these, and then your savings, the difference between your earnings and your costs. Now over here you have your savings year to date. Now that's how much you've saved up to, from the start of the year up to 2 months ago. And that just gives you enough time to enter in all of your bills and one-time payments, so that it's not giving you an inaccurate savings year-to-date value. So that's just a little bit behind, but I think it's worth it to give an accurate value. So next we have our chart with the different one-time payment categories. So it shows you what proportion of your one-time payments are on each category. So you've got your labels down here, and if there are too many colors down here, there can be a lot of colors. So you can just put the cursor here, and it'll show it right there, car maintenance. And the last chart on this page is bills versus income. So it shows your income here. Here's in the legend, and then all your bills. So how your bills compare to your income. So you can see how much of your income you're spending each month, or for that particular month. Now it lists all of the bills that you have for that month, and then also all of your one-time payments together. So that's this block here. It's just so that there wouldn't be too many different categories in the legend. I combined the one-time payments into one. So that's about it for the budget summary, and now we can move on to the second page, one-time payments. So this next tab is our one-time payments. So this is our little table of our one-time payments. This is where they get added to once we add them. So all you're really going to do on this page is click the Add Payment button, and then a form will pop up, and you'll go through and add an entry. Now, before I'm gonna do that, but before I do, I want to explain payment methods really quick. how you use this. So it's pretty self-explanatory, but you just enter all the different payment methods that you have to use. You list them in here. You have up to, I think, yeah, it looks like 15 payment methods that you can do. So hopefully that's enough. And yeah, so let's get into the add payment form. So category, now that's your list of categories from the budget summary. So whatever you enter in for that list of categories is going to show up here. So I'll say gas. It automatically defaults to today's date. Description, Conoco, amount $25. Payment method, Visa. So you can cancel if you didn't mean to do this or you want to back out of it, or add payment. And there we go. So then we have this payment, and if you go back into budget summary and you switch to, here I'll show you, I go to September, you will now see our gas payment here, and it's the only thing we had in September. So that's all there is to the one-time payment sheet. So next we'll go to the bills sheet. Okay, so this is the bills sheet, and this is where you take care of paying all your bills and recording the payments. So let's just go through all the categories. There's monthly bills, non-monthly bills, and payment cards. So we'll start with monthly bills. So for the monthly bills, you have your bill name, your period, which is always monthly for the monthly bills. It's just for uniformity with the monthly bills that I have the period there. Then you have your date of the next due date, your last payment amount, days until due, which is green. It's highlighted in green until it's 5 days or less, and then it becomes red, like this 2 here. And then auto pay. I'll show you what auto pay is for in the notes in a second, and then the link to the website where you pay the bill. So let's go through a payment really quick. So say you're paying your Netflix bill. So you go to the website. This is following the instructions that are right over here, so you can look at those if you need to. But you go to the website, you pay the bill, then here you record how much you paid, and then you click paid. And then it says enter the date that you paid, and it defaults to today because it assumes you're clicking the link, coming back and paying, and then entering the payment. So I'll say okay, and then it jumps forward a month, so you never have to touch this due date anymore. Unless the due date changes, then you can enter in whatever the new day of the month that it's due is. But so it automatically does that. If you made a mistake, you click the oops button, of course. So that's how that works without auto pay. Now let's pay a bill that has auto pay, and I'll show you what it does. So go through the same process, enter $20 because that's what we just paid, and we click paid. Well, with auto pay, you don't have to enter what date it was paid because it assumes the due date is when it was paid, or at least it uses the due date for when it was paid. So if that works for you, just do auto pay, and then you won't have to enter in that date. Now, autopay does something else. Having autopay in here does something else. It makes it so that you don't get emails for that bill when it's near due. So just know that. That way you're not getting a ton of emails for bills you don't need to be reminded of. So next, we'll look at the add bill and delete bill / payment card in a second. I'm just going to go through the categories first. So non-monthly bills. It's the same as monthly bills except for the period. So this is 1 year. You can do a number, space, days, weeks, months, year, or years. Doesn't matter if you have plural or singular. But so you do the exact same process, enter what you paid, and click paid. There's no auto pay, so it has you enter the date, and it jumped ahead a year. I'm going to click oops, so it goes back and undoes that. And the last section here is the payment cards. So the payment cards section is a lot like the monthly bills section. The only real difference is that when the payment card bill is due in more than 5 days, then this due date doesn't change, because the idea is you're probably going to be, or you might be, making multiple payments before the due date. So you might just want to, you don't want this due date to jump ahead before you're ready for that, because then you won't get emails sent about the payment card bill being due. So yeah, so I'll just show you. Click paid, enter the date, so I'll say I paid it today, and it didn't jump ahead. But this was within 5 days, and we click paid. Yeah, and there we go, jumps ahead a month. So that's about it for this, except for add bill and delete bill / payment card. So for add bill, click it, and do you want a monthly bill, non-monthly bill, or payment card? So I want to add to the monthly bills. Okay, so I'll say I have a monthly bill where a charity takes out of my account. That first payment will be October 5th, 2017. So yeah, this days until due automatically updates, just so you know. You don't have to touch that. And take out $21 when I go to that site. And then when I go to that site, take out $21 each month. Now, I was thinking about the websites column. So it's pretty easy to insert hyperlink, but I'm just going to show you really quick. So you go to insert hyperlink, sorry, with the cell selected that you want the hyperlink added to. I want to say charity website, and then address will be, yeah, Google. Okay, and you'd enter whatever that charity's website is. If you have to go to that website to pay the bill. Now, if you want to delete a bill, you select that bill's name. Well, first, before we delete that bill, I'm just going to show you that in the summary, now we have charity in our bills list. So it automatically updates this. And back to bills, if we want to delete that, we just select the bill name, delete bill, and it's gone. And that's about all there is to the bills page. So next, let's go to the income page. Okay, and last but not least is our income page. So the income page, you have up to 5 different incomes. And then, so here's the name, the period, next payday, and last payment amount. So the period goes the same way that pretty much almost the same way as the non-monthly bills period setup from this bills sheet. So the period, just like the non-monthly bills section, you can do a number, space, days, weeks, months, or years. And that works for monthly too. You can just do 1 space month as a period. But then there's also, some people get paid 2 times a month on a certain day of the month. So if you're paid the 1st of the month and the 16th of the month, then you'll have that number space the other number, the other day of the month. So for our next payday is October 1st. We enter in how much we were paid. You can enter a website. I left that as a possibility, but you don't necessarily have to have that. And then, so if I click add, it'll jump to the 16th of that month. And then next time it'll jump to the 1st of November. So that just about does it for all of these incomes. And then the last one here, your 6th possible income is your miscellaneous income. So it tells you when it was last updated, so that you just know the last time you entered something. So if you forgot, you're not sure if you entered a certain income, then you can check, and this can give you an idea. If that still doesn't tell you, you can scroll down and look through this table, but it can get pretty big as you go. So hopefully having this date here helps some. But so all you do for miscellaneous income is click add. Gives you the current date as the default. Doesn't have to be that though. Enter whatever date you want, and then dollars. $50. Helped Matt move. Yeah, he paid me $50 because I helped him move. So, and then you do add, and you'll see that it's at the bottom of the list here. And that also factors into the budget summary. So that's about all I've got for the budget, except for the email part. So next we're going to get into how you set up your budget to send you automated emails. Okay, so the next thing to do is set the budget up for emailing. So you go to your bills page, and then if you scroll over to the right, you'll see email setup. So first is the email that's sending the notification. So for this, you need to give an email address and a password, and it has to be a Gmail account, because that's how the code is set up. Now, if you have a Gmail account, you could use that, and you can send from one email account to that same email account. That works fine. But I would recommend just making a dummy Gmail account, because I don't know, you might not want to store a password to your personal email on an Excel workbook. So you enter those, click OK, email to, enter just the email address for where the notifications are being sent to, and then if you want to, you can add a CC carbon copy if, for example, two people are using this same budget, like if you have a spouse that you want the notifications to be sent to also. So there's that. So now let's just go into creating a dummy Gmail account. So I started this already. So you don't have to enter any kind of personal information here if you don't want. So that's the good thing about this. And that's enough information. You don't have to give phone number or another email address. And then go to next step. And continue to Gmail. Now that's about all it takes to create a new Gmail account. Now there's one other thing that you have to do, which is search here allow less secure apps for Gmail. That's what allows your Excel budget to access this email account. But this email account doesn't have other personal emails on it, so it's okay to turn this on. And that is all there is to the first part of setting this up. Now the second part will be using a PowerShell script that is also attached in the description. So we'll go through how to set that up next. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is set up our PowerShell script so that it runs our Excel budget to send the emails. So first, you go to your C drive. Well, you go to your File Explorer, and then go to the C drive, and then create this folder called Bill's Email, no space, capital B, capital E. So I click New Folder and name it Bill's Email. And then inside there, you're going to place the PowerShell script and your budget. Now, you have to also keep these names. Bill's Email and Excel Budget, no space. Now, these two don't have to be here. These are what I used to use before I switched to PowerShell, so just have these top two in this folder. And then next, we can set up Task Scheduler. So search Task Scheduler in that search bar, and then create task, and I'll name mine Bill's Notification. Name it whatever you want, whatever description you want. Run only when user is logged on. We want it to run whether or not the user is logged on. So select that. We don't need to store the password. To run the PowerShell script, we do need to run with highest privileges, and then hidden. Now for this to work, you have to do a couple steps actually. So for it to run without the user logged on. So let's go to the File Explorer, and let's go to this PC or my computer, whatever it is for you. System Properties. So system type, if you have 64-bit, then there are 2 steps. If you have 32-bit, there's 1 step. So let's go back to the File Explorer. Okay, so the first step, this is the same step for both of them. So go to C, Windows, go to System 32, whether or not you have 32 or 64-bit. And then go to Config, System Profile, and then you're just going to create a folder here called Desktop. That's just how it is here. So if you have 32-bit, just need to create that folder and it's set up and it'll work. If you have 64-bit, you have to do that and then also go back to C, Windows, and then go to syswow 64. Okay. Config, System Profile, and then again you're gonna create a folder in here called Desktop, and that's it. And then that'll work. Okay, now we go to Triggers, New Trigger. So we'll set the time that this will run every day. Now later we're gonna set it up so that it can run while the computer's asleep. It'll run if it misses a time, so if the computer is completely turned off, then as soon as it's back on again, it'll run. So based on that, choose a time, daily, on schedule, and that's it for that one. Actions, new action. So in here we're going to type PowerShell.exe and start a program. That's right. Add arguments. So now we're going to do dash execution policy bypass to run the PowerShell script, and then dash Windows style hidden, so that you just don't have a PowerShell window up while it's running. And then dash file, and then path to your PowerShell script. So it's Bill's email, / Bill's email .ps1, and nothing in the start in section. So we can say OK to that. And we go to conditions. I uncheck this. You can choose what you want to do. If you want it to have to be charging when this runs, you can do that. Now here's the next one we want to do, is wake the computer to run this task. So that way, if the computer is sleeping, it'll still send you the email. Now we have to do an extra thing to make this work too. So go down here, search Control Panel, and then System and Security, Power Options, change plan settings, and then change advanced power settings. You go to sleep, allow wake timers, and I already switched this, but so you switch it to enable so that this will work. And OK. So we'll go back. And settings is the last thing we need. I like to do, now one thing to know, it can't run on demand if that first setting where it's run even when the user isn't logged on, it doesn't run on demand if that's the case, so you can't run it that way. What I do to test it is just set it for a minute in the future, but I don't know, check or uncheck this, but it still won't run on demand actually. Run task as soon as possible after scheduled start is missed. I do that, so if it's off, when you turn it back on, it'll run. And I keep these settings the way they are. I say an hour. It shouldn't take long at all to run, so I do the minimum. And that's about it. So we click OK, and here it is. So now we test it. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is test our task to make sure it runs and sends the emails when it's within 5 days, when one of our bills is within 5 days of being due. Now remember to, when you're testing this, make sure in your budget you have a bill that is within 5 days of being due and it doesn't have the auto pay keyword in the notes section. So if you have that ready, then you go to your task scheduler again, task scheduler library, select the tasks that you made. Mine was called bills notification, and then we're going to go to triggers and change this to a minute from now and say OK. And then we'll see if it sends the email. There it goes. So I do say hidden in there, but it does pop up for just a second. If I didn't have hidden in the arguments section for the task, then it would pop up for a while. So there's our email, and sure enough, select it. Wi-Fi bill is due in a day, and this is the link to pay it. So that's it. And by the way, I used the same email, the email I created from earlier, as my sending email and my receiving email. So that's why I was sitting in this inbox. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.